Yeah, Graham here. Now, this video is primarily about retuning a spare pair of split 48s on a Brooks manifold. Now, this is actually an Ike setup, and in the comments from the last video, quite a few of you asked about whether I could have done a comparison between the Brooks and the splits. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't. Time and obviously the fact that the client's engine was against us, so I couldn't do that. But if you stay to the end, I can put up a comparison between the Brooks 48s and a pair of Ike split 45s on a GTS3 cam. The engines aren't identical, but they're fairly similar. So we've got same cam, GTS3, Ike 45s versus Brooks 48s. And yeah, that'd be an interesting comparison. I'd say stay to the end. Now, on with the actual intro for this video. Hi guys, Graham from Penguin Motors here with part 2 on our retune on a pair of split 48s. Just to recap, pair of split 48s, GTS3 cam, Simpson exhaust manifold 421 with a 2 1/4 exit. And yeah, as I said in the last video, the client wanted the engine retuned to try and make it drivable low down. Now, lots of comments on this, which is good. We like the comments. We love the comments. Now, and a lot of comments saying, well, why did anyone build it with a GTS3? The answer to that is, I don't know. It might be the engine wasn't actually built for the specification that the client now wants it. I don't know. Why 48s? Well, the split 48s wouldn't have been my choice. I would either put it on a twin choke downdraft or possibly split 45s, because I think split 45s would have worked better. But anyway, those were the carbs the client had, so those are what we used. Same with the Simpson exhaust manifold. Great manifold, and yeah, I've seen good results from it. But in my book, you need to be up somewhere around 190 horsepower before you consider the big bore manifolds. I'm pretty sure a cheapo 421 would have done as good a job, but there we go. The client had what he had, so we were then trying to make the best of it. And just to recap, when it came in, we had originally power curve in black here, and we started the power runs down there because, well, I couldn't coax it into life any earlier. That was it. Whereas when we finished up, we got it taking power from much lower RPM, and yeah, much. In fact, you know, we actually ended up with more power everywhere. So that was a win-win. So, you know, we came down from 42 to 38 chokes. We gained power. Bestek distributor helped pick us up some power. Bit of jetting, so that was a plus. But I want to try and get it working down there. The client really wants it to work from 2000 RPM, which is going to be an ask in a performance cam. But so for that, to that end, we've had to change a cam. It's got another Kent in it. So, but this time we've took the GTS 3 out, or we fitted a GTS 1. So let's cue some dyno footage and let's see what we get on a GTS 1. So here we are. In red, we've got our GTS 3. And in black, we've got our GTS 1. Very similar. We're surprised the GTS 1 didn't drop any top end power. But I've got to say, if we'd have gone back to 40mm chokes, the GTS1 would have made more top end power. But it would end down there somewhere. So certainly the milder cam certainly helped. But at this stage, we've got another problem. We're back to ignition timing and distributors. Now, our GTS3 only wanted 27 degrees of ignition advance. That ain't much. And the GTS1 wanted even less. That only wanted 26 degrees. Now, why so little? Well, basically, that low advance means either we've got a fuel problem in that the octane rating is too low, or we've got a compression problem. So, out came the compression tester. And I did a compression test and we had 210 to 215 psi cylinder compression, which is a lot. That's kind of the compression you'd normally see if you're running a full race cam. So that kind of explains less timing, simply because effectively with the milder timing of the GTS1 cam, we've got higher dynamic compression, hence the retard. But certainly we picked up down here. But, and here's the but, down the very bottom of the rev range, the engine still wasn't nice, and it idled like a bunch of poo. So I put the timing light back on it, and at 1200 RPM, the ignition timing is at TDC. So no wonder, because so down the bottom there, at idle, the engine's effectively way retarded. So we've got a problem there, because we've got as much advance in it as it would take up here, but we haven't got enough down here. So I got back onto John at Bestek yet again, and he recurved me another distributor. So let's see what the next distributor with faster initial advance did for us. Righto, so how did we do? Well, there was on our original Bestek distributor in black, and our new recurve one in red. Big improvement here, and there's less of a dip here. Now, we still have an ignition timing problem. Well, more correctly, we don't have a timing problem, we have a compression or fuel related problem, because we have as much advance as the engine will absolutely tolerate in it down here. It will not tolerate any more there, but it would actually like a bit more up here. Well, there's not a distributor on the planet that we can achieve slightly less there, more there, which in the dip, which is where it really wants some more, no more there, and more out here. We can't do that on a distributor. Now, if we had mapped ignition, we could certainly fill that gap in a bit, or conventionally, if we had a bit less compression, we probably could, because normally, unless you've got too much compression and you're really marginal limited, you can run a fraction more advance here and here. It won't hurt power, and it will pick it up there, but we can't. It just won't tolerate it. If we take any advance out, the power sinks. If we put any in, it rattles. And if you really switched on that last video clip, you can actually hear the engine pink just at that point there. So this isn't quite the finish, but this is a major step forward. So So I'm actually going to show you a clip in a second, and the clip I'm going to show you is me at the dyno console, and I'm loading this up at full throttle down at 1800 RPM. So we've certainly made it work now. Now you'll watch me bang the throttle. The revs are coming up. It's not going vroom vroom, simply because the dyno is trying to hold the load back. So the dyno is holding the load on the engine, so the engine can only accelerate slowly. But that proves that even down at 1500, 1800 RPM on this setup, I can give the engine full chat, and it doesn't die. It will pick up and go. So cue that clip. So here we are. This is where we finished up. Our original line in black is the engine as it came in on the GTS 3 with the 42mm chokes, and in red where we finished up with the GTS 1 and 38mm chokes. So in fact we're as good or better everywhere than on the original specification. Yes, true, we've still got a big bump there, which I said, I think if we had mapped ignition, we could flatten out a bit more. If we had a bit less compression, we could run a bit more advanced. We'd probably flatten it a bit more. And that looks horrific there. But actually, if you look at the power line, it dies off, but I don't think that will be massively noticeable. And again, this is at full throttle. If you're not at full throttle, you probably won't feel that. And the bit this graph doesn't show you is the engine will actually take full throttle down there off the screen, whereas here it didn't want to know anything below there. So given that we've got an engine with carbs too big and exhaust too big and too much compression, I think this is a winner. Our final numbers were 164, 165 brake horsepower and 151 pound-foot of torque. So this should do its owner pretty well on his auto tests and road rallies. And as promised, the next clip up is a comparison between two different engines with GTS 3, although the engines are reasonably similar. Two different engines with a GTS 3, one on split 45s from Ike, and the other one is this one on the Brooks split 48s. There's probably not as much difference as you think there'd be. And on that bombshell, you know what to do, guys. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. It really helps. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.